morning, all. Welcome, everybody.
Good morning.
I hear an echo, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll work itself out. But hey, everybody in the chat.
Let me see.
No,
I
it
don't know.
disappeared.
I know we're all like watching our own streams separately, so sometimes we get feedback. By the way, I'm going to say I have been putting Baker's links in the description. So I want to encourage everybody, if you don't catch them in the chat, they are in the description. And I realized also that I have been neglecting Mo. So I'm adding Mo right now, a link to her page in the description as well. So that, again, if you guys don't catch it in the, if you're watching rewatch and you're not catching the live streams, you can go ahead and click in the description and you'll get links to both Baker and Mo's stream if you're watching on mine. But we are also simultaneously streaming on Baker's. Så to all you Danish people, Sweden's better. I don't know.
Søren Weinesår, det skal vi ikke finde os i. Det er ren og skær racistisk simpelthen.
Yeah, what he said.
Mads, vi skal ikke finde os i det. Det her, det er simpelthen for meget. 3 Danes in the chat.
There's 3 Danes in the chat and no Swedes. I want to be where the people aren't. I like your shirt. Someone called your shirt out, Mo.
Yes, it's the best birthday gift. I got this and the people of Walmart last year. So
I have a shirt that says, sorry I'm late, but I didn't want to come.
So Mr. Mo is supposed to get me my new favorite, most inappropriate shirt. It has a bunch of laundry baskets and it says, "Don't worry, laundry. No one else is doing me either."
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you. Yeah, but for people who are on the rewatch, because I have noticed a lot an uptick on rewatches. So if you're on my stream and you're rewatching this, the links will also be in the channel description, so you guys can check it out there. If you're not rewatching the live chat along with it, which if you're rewatching, I don't know why you would watch the live chat rewatch. I've tried it on some channels. Well. Yes, everyone here is hilarious, but I've watched it on like other streams and I'm like, why am I rewatching the live chat? It's not like I can interact with them. So, but yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to make sure the links were in there. We are still, by the way, I know we're like late. Normally, like I first started doing it, it's like, oh, we'll start at 9:30, then 9:45, then 9:50, now 10 o'clock. The court was supposed to go an hour ago.
Yesterday he said he wanted to start 8:45 because it was very important that they got a good start, because with all the action yesterday we were ready to go.
Which was 9:45 my time, which means a half hour ago the court was supposed to start. And much like everything else with this case, their 5-minute breaks are taking 20 minutes, their hour breaks are taking 3 hours, and their 9:45 starts, well, kick off somewhere around 10:45. So if you guys felt like you were missing something, we promise you're not. How did the rest of the stream go? I wasn't able to catch the end of it. I was in for some of the Snapchats in the translations. I know there was a lot of discussion regarding whipping something out, which I wasn't clear on. What was the result of the whipping out conversation via Snapchat?
Yeah, I'm so confused.
At what time was the snap sent? 8:45. When was it received? 8:47. When was it deleted? 10 seconds later. Who sent it? At what time was the snap sent? 8:49. At what time was it received? 8:49. When was it deleted? 10 seconds later. The only thing was I learned how to say show us your breast in Spanish. So that was the best part of the stream yesterday.
I foresee a trip to Mexico or Spain for Baker here very shortly.
I didn't understand how they could be talking about custody and then he would say whip them out and she'd be like, "Oh, I have to wait for later. I haven't taken a shower or something." I'm like, man,
my boyfriend is here.
His other family.
My boyfriend is here.
So. Oh yeah, I heard that too. She has a boyfriend at the time.
I think she was lying. I think it was because he's like, "Oh really?" And she's like, "I'm just joking." I was paying way more attention.
So basically, Iris. So basically, he's saying dance for the money, kind of thing. Like you want the money, take him out.
At some point, he was asking if she could take pictures without bras and panties on. And Tia, I believe it was melons or tatas.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Iris will probably help me. But it was just, I was in a limbo when we were talking about, I really need this help to get me going. Yeah, but I saw your mom at the laundromat, and I said to her, your daughter likes this. Mm-mm. But we can't say only 6 minutes in. Then she said, yeah, you talk to my mom, show me them tatas. I was just, what's
And my perspective of it was he was just trying to change the subject because he wanted something else.
Yeah. Well, it sounded like, again, two middle schoolers who just learned like boobies
Yeah.
and just playing out this whole entire freaking Coronation Street
Let's bring in
drama.
the jury. Oh, let's bring in the
my
defendant
God.
first.
Holy
only half an hour? And Christine,
sure we
I
get the
think
defendant.
Nicholas is looking at covering that case.
Yeah, so Nicholas is starting a new trial today too,
Good morning.
which is a bummer because I like that trial or like that case. And but he's covering it, I think, with Salvador as well. It's starting today. I believe Salvador is actually going into the court, which is going to be cool. He was messaging me about how he should act to make sure that doesn't cause any problems and it goes the smoothest. And so, by the way, if anyone wants to go to court and watch live proceedings, you absolutely have a right to. They're open to the public. Dress appropriately, though, right? The better you dress, the more respect you will get. So if you go in a suit and tie, they will treat you like an attorney, even if you say I'm not an attorney. Everyone will treat you like an attorney. Just that's how it works. And and I said check the local court rules to make sure. Oh, hey, he's in the chat. Check the local court rules and make sure what you're allowed to bring in and not to bring in. Like in Michigan, anyone can bring in a cell phone now, but it never used to be that way. Only attorneys in certain courts. So always check the local court rules. What you can bring in.
But you can't have the phone out. You can't.
You can't record. You can record if, in Michigan, anyways, if you file a notice of media coverage, then you can record. But when I was in
Garcia.
Megan Imowit's case, I didn't file that, but I was able to tweet. So I was tweeting live from the court. If you guys recall, I was tweeting everything I was seeing. And I think also throwing in the Discord. So just check with the local courts about that. And then remember, you belong there. You are a member of the public. So act like you belong there. Just be quiet and respectful and sit in the back and do whatever. But the dress is the big thing.
And Sal, inside
Morning,
voice if
Detective
there's a
Garcia.
nice juror.
Just have a seat in the
Don't accost anybody, Salvador. But yeah,
we're waiting for the jury to come
it's
in.
fun to go to court. I like it.
I've done it a few times. If I'm out early on my trial, I go into another courtroom and watch just to see how it's the perspective from down there. Because when you're sitting on the jury bench, you're just sitting very concentrated, listening to everything.
Yeah.
But when you're in the back of the room, you can see all the funny things people do and how they touch themselves.
You know what, we didn't tell
And
them.
I'm quite a pre-body language expert myself.
I love the ceiling look. I'm so glad we came in hot with the audio and then are now staring at the ceiling. Oh, they're bringing
Then
the
they
jury in.
fixed the ceiling, what's ceiling panel?
Tile.
What's it called? Tile.
Ceiling
Yeah,
tile, yeah.
it's gaping. It's annoying.
Is it gaping, Baker?
I know speak English.
Well, I'm learning how to seduce Mr. Mo in Spanish. So kid number, oh God, I haven't done Spanish. Whatever 7 is in Spanish, it's escaping me right now.
Siente?
Yeah, there we go.
Good morning, Wendy. Good
Hey,
morning,
kid number-
everybody in the chat. I haven't addressed everybody. We got Tiri in
Mhm.
here. We got Tia Nina. Did I say that right? Tia Nina, Mads, Iris. I addressed Iris. Christina's in here. Welcome, everybody. Ask your questions.
Fedorowski, Wendy, Søren. He better leave.
Welcome,
Reindeer,
everybody. Thanks for joining us here today.
Yes.
Murph's Turf. So we know we have our translation team on. If
Yeah,
we
you
need
guys
it.
are invaluable. I love how there's a certain chatter or two that pops up in every trial that knows everything about the trial.
I love
and
that.
has all the inside information. Like the first trial, Zachariah Anderson. I didn't really have anybody, but then Letitia Stout, it was Junie B. Jones, and
Oh,
then we had now we have Iris and Murph's putting a lot of stuff in Discord about this case. So if you guys are a member, check out the Discord.
In Texas, do they have the same kind of setup? So it's a guilt phase and then a penalty phase. Is that maybe why he has all the lawyers, or is it
I don't
just like
know. I based off of the fact that in the opening statements the defense was talking about the punishment, I don't think so. I think it's the same jury that decides both.
Morning.
Oh, I had Zach's sister. Yeah, but that wasn't until late because I don't think I was on anyone's radar really
Thank you.
until I was on Jamie's
have a
radar, but
Yeah, I
and
have-
Good
Facebook
morning.
people.
And just to reiterate, thank you so much for doing all the digging because we don't really have the time because we are spent when we have been here for 9 hours.
Yes,
So-
we just go do something else, anything else.
Yeah, we don't want to read things on the internet. So thank you so much. You are invaluable help to us with all the timelines and all the graphics and most of all, like yesterday, all the entertainment because yesterday was a killer.
Yes, yes.
Past the witness, Detective Garcia, who's now on the witness stand. Any questions?
So this is Cross on who?
I believe I called him Lou Diamond
Yeah.
Phillips yesterday, but he was the
Alright.
guy that did the pin the tail on the
Let's check it out.
demonstrative.
Oh,
Same guy from yesterday, same guy.
Garcia
Thank you.
Diaz.
Thank you.
yeah. The guy who looks like a worn out tennis
You
ball.
may.
Detective Garcia, good morning.
Morning.
You arrived at the scene of the crime on April 9, 2018 at around 11:46, correct? 46 a.m., is that correct?
11:46. Yeah, yes, correct.
And the first persons that you encountered on the scene were Border Patrol agents Bradley Dennison, Francisco Lara, and Mr. Burgos, the defendant, correct?
At the scene, yes, Burgos, Bradley, Lara, and I believe Jimmy Smith.
Bradley Dennison?
Bradley Dennison, yes.
Yes. And you spoke to the Border Patrol agent who first discovered the body of Griselda Hernandez, and that was Ronald Burgos, correct?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it? The Border Patrol engine?
Yes. You spoke to the Border Patrol agent who
Oh.
first discovered the body of Griselda Hernandez, and that was Ronald Burgos?
Yes, correct.
And you asked Mr. Burgos for his ID, and he handed you his ID, correct?
That is correct.
And Mr. Burgos' ID identified him as Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles, correct?
Correct.
And later on in the morning of that occasion, do you remember handing his ID back to Mr. Burgos?
Yes, I handed his ID back to Burgos.
Okay. And so Mr. Burgos correctly identified himself as Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles from the very beginning when he handed you his ID, correct?
Yes, correct.
You also testified that you recovered a Chick-fil-A receipt, which I believe is State's Exhibit Number 1, during your investigation of the scene of the crime
Not of the scene of the crime. That was recovered later.
later, but you did recover it,
Yes.
correct? And that receipt was not recovered from Mr. Burgos' patrol unit, but rather from the Mercedes-Benz that Ms. Hernandez was driving on that date, correct?
It was recovered from Griselda's sister.
Okay. Now, you also testified that you found two hypodermic needles in Mr. Burgos's lunch bag, correct?
Correct.
In the course of your investigation, did you discover that Mr. Burgos had been prescribed testosterone?
Mm. I don't recall that. Um,
I like his tie.
Did you conduct any
me of a
investigation to
tablecloth.
determine whether Mr. Burgos had a legitimate
color of
reason
the
for
suit for
being
me.
in possession of the hypodermic needle?
Ugly.
He was on testosterone.
No.
Call it roids, dude.
Yeah. See, there you go, Baker. You're right.
Okay, so the state is
Salvador
relying
says
at
he called
least
it.
in a significant part on the theory that Mr. Burgos attempted to either.
Of course, Sal
kill or
called it
harm
after I said it
Dominic
yesterday.
Hernandez on
He did.
March the
Yeah.
25th of 2018, when he met
Good job,
with
Lloyd.
Griselda Hernandez at Winfield Park. You're aware of that, correct?
This is all
I'm
like
aware.
white noise to me at this point.
And they have made a big deal about Dominic having what appeared to be a puncture wound on his thigh. Correct.
Yes, correct.
And you're aware that they claim that one of the 18 gauge hypodermic needle that was recovered from Mr. Burgos's patrol unit matches the size of the puncture wound on Dominic's thigh, correct?
Can you repeat that again?
Yes, sir. Part of the state's theory is that when Mr. Burgos met with Griselda Hernandez on March 25th of 2018 at Winfield Park, that he intentionally injected some kind of a foreign substance into the thigh of Dominic.
Sir,
and
cut
that
your
it left the
fingernails.
puncture wound in question.
Yes.
You're aware of that, right?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Okay. So knowing that that is an important part of the state's case, you decided that you were not going to make any investigation whatsoever to determine whether Mr. Burgos had a legitimate reason for being in possession of the hypodermic needle?
From what I discovered with discussions with Corinne Stern, that she believed that it was caused either by a 14 gauge or 18 gauge needle. I really just, needed for me to find that instrument that she believed that was used.
Was that the extent of your investigation with regard to that issue?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so you did not investigate Dr. Antonio Rodriguez, the pediatrician who diagnosed the puncture wound as a spider?
Yes,
bite,
yes. Yes, we spoke to Dr. Rodriguez.
And you learned that in his opinion, that puncture wound was caused by a spider bite, correct? By an insect bite.
By an insect bite, because he was going off of what was previously told to him by the emergency doctors, or the emergency doctor's reports.
So they were
And
all
you
wrong.
learned that Dr. Antonio Rodriguez examined Dominic on 3 separate occasions, and on each of those occasions, his diagnosis was spider bite, and his treatment was for spider bite, correct?
Correct.
Did you also examine the medical records from doctor's hospital pertaining to this same so-called insect bite incident?
Correct. Yes.
And those records also indicated that the injury was caused by a spider bite, and the treatment that was recommended was for a spider bite injury, correct?
Correct.
Did you also inspect the medical records from the emergency care clinic, which I think was a Vital Care?
Vital care. Yes.
And they also agreed in their diagnosis and.
That's right. When a group of people suffer through something together, it brings us closer, Wendy.
Dominic's leg was caused by some kind of an insect bite, not by hypodermic needle, correct?
Correct.
Probably.
Now,
It's like the Twinkie
you
defense.
found 2 hypodermic needles in Mr. Burgos' lunch bag.
Maybe not a Twinkie, but you put a zebra
and,
cake out.
You did not
My
determine
carbs
zebra
that he
cake.
was
Give me a
Oh, you don't.
right
I
testosterone.
was
feel
gonna
like
say-
that's a very where you come
Do
from
you
thing.
know that
It's a very little Debbie's
testosterone
thing.
is administered by a
Jamie
by
apparently knows all
injection?
about them.
Yes, I have knowledge.
Dave, if you say you haven't had a Nutty Buddy,
Would
I'm
that
gonna.
be a
Oh, I've
reason
had a
for
Nutty Buddy.
Mr. Burgos to
That
be
I will eat all day
possession
long.
Oh, he
I buy
has.
those by the case.
hypodermic needle?
Yeah, those were my.
It would be plausible, yes.
So wait, why take roids if it gives you puffy nips and no
A little dingle.
dingleberries and acne?
Part of your
Get a little dingle, but you
investigation,
look good from the waist up. sort of.
conducted a criminal.
That's why Dave and I is on it, because it's the YouTube game. You have to have the broad shoulders and the small waist.
Correct.
And you found that he has never
Well,
been
testosterone is a
convicted
big deal. We
of
just
a
spent a lot.
felony or even a misdemeanor, and that he has never been arrested for any type of offense, correct?
Correct.
I gotta make a stupid work call. I love my nutty butter, buddy. I always call them nutty butters, but it's not called that. It's a nutty
No,
buddy.
because those are a different kind of cookie, and this former fat kid knows.
Wait, what? Salvador had 0 sex drive? What?
He takes that medication. He's
He-
talked about it before.
Oh,
Yeah.
the same stuff that this guy was on?
It's very
All right.
common. Very common.
All right, well, you guys can entertain him. I gotta make a work call.
Well,
I'll be back.
and again, roids can make you really angry, but if you're not the bodybuilder type where you're getting really skinny and you manage your T levels,
Run around, go ahead and pass the witness.
you don't really, because
Yesterday,
strongmen
you
are some of
testified-
the nicest
Is my
people on
comment?
earth,
Yes,
and
sir.
they do just as much
Good morning,
as the
Detective.
bodybuilders.
Yesterday, you testified on the dirt trail where you found Griselda Hernandez. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, I do.
And you described there that there was a lot of blood on the trail, correct?
Correct.
You went over some of the physical items that were there. Do you remember any additional physical items that were on the dirt trail that were collected?
That were collected. I would say that there was additional items collected the next day. Yes.
Okay. Do you recall if and I think we saw the pictures yesterday, there was a rock with blood on it.
Yes. Correct.
Do you know if that rock was collected?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Did you find any other evidence belonging to Griselda on the dirt trail?
Belonging to the dirt to Griselda on the dirt trail. Just the blood that came back to Griselda.
Do you remember finding any hair, or anything else that?
Yes, there was hair that was recovered the next day.
And where was the hair located?
It was recovered in the vicinity where Griselda was, and there was also some hair by where Dominic's body was found.
When I asked you yesterday, but did you all search for a weapon around that area?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
and mark that states Exhibit 5 and ask if you recognize this exhibit.
Seen it before.
You want to come some close?
Sure.
Mr. Kennedy, are the bags inside of that bag labeled separately or?
Yes, sir. We did that right now
Okay.
before we came out.
All right, thank
So they'll be labeled. I'll go over them right now.
you. All right, thank
Okay, so this is State's Exhibit 5.
Oh, good, more
I'm gonna show you
envelopes.
what's in-
What the hell is this?
State's Exhibit 5.1. Can you
Do
look
you
at that?
generally open evidence after cross?
Recognize that?
Sometimes if it's
Yes.
relevant to the cross.
You can take
Okay.
5.2.
But there
So,
was
like-
nothing. There was nothing on cross. It was. Did you know he took roids? Did you know? Yeah. Did you find anything? Why did you go with
Yes.
the spider bite?
5.5.
There was nothing.
Yes.
5.6.
We'll see. Maybe it's like
Yes.
a package of the roid or something. I don't know. If there was something elicited during
Yes.
And
cross
what do all these items
that
have
was
in common?
introduced.
They're strands of hair, and they're the rock with blood.
Okay, where were they found?
They were found in the crime scene.
You guys sharing
So this is
recipes?
Exhibit 5, and we've labeled it 5.1.
I'm seeing how I'm gonna have to move to. I'm becoming a citizen, Baker.
But
I too love.
You have to be on my island because we do the only acceptable one of these.
As long as you promise to not burn me as a witch until I eat some cake, I'm good.
We only burn effigies.
It's Exhibit 5.
That's what you
And-
say until I get here, and then I'm
Well,
Nick
it's a
Cage.
big bonfire and
Okay.
people are drunk. Accidents do happen.
Objection, Your Honor.
Admitted.
Well, that sounds fun. Let's go.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 5.7. You remember seeing this item,
Yes.
and what is it?
It's the rock that was found near Griselda and near the left white shoe.
And what is on this object, this rock?
Blood.
Yeah, why are we introducing this on
Now, when you
on
went back the next
redirect?
day,
Where's the objection? Outside the scope? All of
how
that.
many samples of hair were found?
Yeah, we collected them. We collected them also. It's
Well, I'll ask you how many evidence bags contain hair in them? You can count. them.
yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Object defense.
And when we
Object.
say
Be
hair,
done with this nonsense.
what type of
Save us all.
hair?
It's human hair, long human hair.
Okay, when you say
We know
long-
your client's on trial for murder, but come on, we're bored.
Think of the audience.
I know.
I don't know specifically gender, but it's long.
Did Griselda have long hair?
Yes, she did.
Is this hair consistent with her hair?
Yes.
And where were the hair found?
Again, they were found where Griselda was found and where Dominic was found.
Do you know if you all tried to do DNA on this hair?
Not those hairs.
Do you know why not?
Because there were several sharp force injuries on the top of her by her head area, and we knew that it was just hair that was cut off by during the attack.
So Your testimony is that the hair that was found along the trail was hair that was cut during the attack.
Yes.
And no further questions.
Mr. Peña, any recross?
No.
Just a couple of questions.
Oh, God.
Sure, go ahead.
Dave,
We're
you
sticking
went
it
to
out.
school. What was this about?
Garcia, as the lead detective, you review the reports, the incident reports.
What
and
about the
supplement
redirect?
reports prepared by others.
Bringing in hair and a rock. We are ending this trial for
Correct.
prosecution.
There are many of them. So
I don't know. I don't know.
Tell me the strategy because I can't see it.
That was conducted by Investigator Elizondo and by Investigator Reyes of Mr. Burgos-Aviles on April 9.
Thank you, Wendy, for the super chat. Like and subscribe. Share the channel. Yes, I agree.
During the course of that
Thank you very much.
interview,
Oh, and I got your
Mr.
cash app. Thank you.
Burgos advised both detectives Reyes and Elizondo that he had picked up the cell phones of the victim because he knows that they contain
Jung, you got to
valuable
wake up to me because I'm going to
evidence,
do a Saturday stream.
and that he put them in his patrol unit.
Could he talk into the mic? Is it against his religion? Is he a Scientologist? What the hell?
during the interview,
This is the attorney that
No,
during
he-
the first day,
I recall him saying
his
that
testimony or his
he-
questions were quieter than
he
the
saw
other
cell
attorney
phones.
whispering.
but he never said that he recovered them and put them in the unit.
He's old. He doesn't understand
Did
microphones
he
yet.
tell that to you or to another investigator?
They had the phonograph when he was
To another
born.
investigator
Somebody
during that
finally
interview.
saw it. Indigo.
I noticed it. I wasn't going to say anything.
I believe it was investigator Ernesto Elizondo.
So,
I
just
wish
to
we could
clarify your
say that it was
testimony,
slow-mo, Aaron.
Mr. Burgos told
It is not.
investigator Elizondo, I looked, I
And we're
saw
live,
Mr.
so we
cell
can't. I wish
phones.
we could fast forward
I
real life, right?
recognized that they're important evidence
Sometimes,
in the
yes.
case, So I placed them in my patrol unit.
No, he
Or words to that effect.
he didn't say that. No, he said that he saw two phones there, and I think I believe that the questioning continued. You got to realize that we really didn't know about the phones while he was being interviewed. So
Tweety, welcome.
I would say that the phones weren't important at that point. We were looking for phones because the sister was saying that, did you find her phones? But we hadn't found the phones in the truck yet.
And you found them because Mr. Burgos told you that they were there, correct?
No, he didn't tell us where the phones were.
You mentioned that you didn't find them until after Mr. Burgos said that he had picked up the phones, isn't that correct?
I'm sorry, can you say the question again?
Yes, I believe you mentioned that the cell phones in question were not found until after Mr. Burgos had told Detective Elizondo that he had picked up those two cell phones as evidence.
He never said that he picked up the phones. He just mentioned that he saw two phones. And yes, that interview was before we found the phones in the truck.
Okay. And you never spoke.
Don't ask a
directly to
question
Mr.
you don't know the
Burgos
answer
about
to,
that,
counselor.
correct?
No, I
It's
didn't.
like he's
You're relying on your recollection.
Pretending
of
to be
what
a
you
lawyer.
read in Detective Elizondo's
Oh,
report.
Lord.
Of what I reviewed from their interview, their recorded interview.
And you reviewed hundreds of pages of reports, correct?
Hundreds of pages. Yes, it was a lengthy investigation. There were many supplements turned in.
You would agree that the 2 cell phones at a double homicide crime scene are important?
Yes, definitely.
That they could contain very important information,
Very, very important information.
critical to the investigation.
Yes.
And when you first arrived and made contact with Agent Burgos at the crime scene, did he mention to you at that moment that he had recovered or had 2 cell phones in his kilo unit?
No, he did not.
Did he mention to you that he had a bloody belt keeper in his kilo unit?
No, he did not.
No further questions.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Be done.
Thank
Jeez.
God.
Gotta-
States rest. State rests.
You are released, though. You may go about your business.
Better rest.
The state rests.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, come on.
Your Honor, at this time, the state of Texas will rest.
Yes.
Thank God.
Thank God. Sit down.
Approach, please.
Why?
Thank you.
Oh, for the love of all his Cheetos.
This is going to be the end of the day.
Let's take a 5-minute break.
Well,
It's
yeah,
gonna be an
let's
hour
take
and a half
minute
break.
Yeah, the defense is going to be like, we didn't know they were going to arrest today. We don't have any witnesses ready. We're done. Then we got to come back here tomorrow. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen.
Then we can just pop into Nick's chat.
Kim,
I was just praying. I wasn't calling it. I was just like trying to will it, is what I was doing.
Well, we have been calling it since Wednesday. Last week
True.
we have been calling that. Stop. Please stop. Can you please stop? Let's stop now. This was a good way to close. No, you went on for 4 days. It's
It's like
just,
when you're a kid and you try to use the force and you're like, move. And then eventually it happens. You're like, see?
Is
I
that
know,
what
I
you
was
were
so
doing as a kid?
Yeah, I used to do it with like doors at supermarket. I'd be like,
Oh, that's funny.
so did he do it? Yes. Yes. In my opinion, he did it. If I was on the jury, now I have no idea. I try not to predict what the jury's going to do because they're wild cards. But if I was on the jury, Josie, absolutely, I would vote to convict. I don't know if I could do the death penalty though, but I could definitely say convict. I have a hard time with the death penalty because I'm like, is it possible that it's somebody else? Is it possible that he's sitting? I don't know.
Yep.
It's not like he's on camera going like this.
I think I'd be a little bit weary of the death penalty too, just because he has such a punchable face. I want to give it, and it should be a reluctant choice for me. Whereas part of me is like, sir, jaywalking, I don't care. It in there.
I think they proved it. Fedorowski, I think they proved it. What do you think, Baker?
the state rested, and it's now we have to stick the finger in the ground and say what's the bottom, the gut feeling. He did it. I really doesn't understand what we used 30 minutes to talk about a rock for, and the questions from the defense. I can't. Can you tell me the strategy they're going to go into? Because normally you can kind of see it with the questions they ask during the state's presentation, where they object and where they try to push back on some of the witnesses. I can't see anything other than, well, the GPS data isn't that accurate. I can't see a defense. I can't see anything to explain the testosterone.
I don't understand the whole line of questioning regarding that. I don't know. I think maybe they're trying to cover their bases with something that might have happened pre-trial that we weren't privy to. But that's the only
again,
explanation I have.
Roid rage, has that ever worked in court?
No, there was. That's why I talked about the Twinkie defense, because there was a case and it involved temporary insanity. And the temporary insanity was brought on about a sugar high as a result of eating too many Twinkies. And they had like expert testimony regarding what sugar does to the body and all this stuff. And essentially, at the end of the day, after appeals and different things, it was like, well, you can have temporary insanity, but not because you like ingested something. So I would say the same rule then would apply to the roid rage kind of thing.
Yeah, and I've been in a gym or two where people might be a little bit bigger than normal people, and they can get a bit angry, but it still doesn't excuse anything. It's just a stupid way to try to say, well, he flipped, yeah, but then it's still murder. It's not okay because I can get really angry. I just making up a scenario. If I wasted 9 hours at, let's say, a Wednesday, watching people yammer on about when a Snapchat was sent, opened, deleted, I could probably get really, really, really angry and beat somebody half to death, but it wouldn't be a criminal defense. It would just be me doing a thing I shouldn't be doing.
Yep, exactly. Excited. Yeah, they actually parodied it on Seinfeld as well. So there was a parody of the Twinkie defense, but didn't go anywhere. And Antron. Yeah, I'm saying it right. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. It's also like if you get drunk and hit somebody with your car, you can't say, well, I was temporarily out of my mind. I didn't know what I was doing because I was drunk. Voluntary intoxication is not an excuse. Now, if you were poisoned, that's something different. But yeah, so it's the same kind of line of thinking.
Yeah, because if
We're trying to
impairment
decide what kind of, the state has rested their case. And there are things that we have to do if and when, first, if the defense will decide to put on any evidence. As you know, the defense has no burden whatsoever in this case, and therefore it is absolutely their right
we're gonna be done today.
and privilege to put on anything if they'd like. And of course, the fact that they do or they do not will not factor into your deliberations, as you all know. So I think rather than have you sit there for quite some time, I'm going to release you to come back until 1 o'clock. That way you can go and.
We don't, that I know of, we don't need a Daubert hearing for the defense. It was a Daubert hearing for the state's witness.
Back here at 1
And the
o'clock.
defense called their witness
Even though the state has rested, the case is still not given to you yet.
to
Not
help
given to you yet until
argue
all
that
of
the
evidence is in,
state's
so we
witness
still don't
shouldn't be
know if all
called.
the evidence is in, 1. 2, until I've read the instructions and the charge to you, which I have not done. And 3, until counsel has given you your final arguments. So there's still a lot to do. All right? So
If
we'll
I'm
see you
math
here at 1 o'clock. Thank
correctly,
you.
it's almost 10 o'clock Texas time.
Yep, their time,
Maybe-
yeah, anyways.
They've been going for 30 minutes, and why didn't they end it yesterday? We could have been done by noon. We
What
could have
time
a
did they
verdict.
end yesterday?
Just
that.
before 1 a.m., so it would be 5 their time.
They could have gone for another half hour. That was BS.
Yeah.
Same witness was on the stand. They asked him 30 minutes worth of questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they made everybody come in early for a waste of time.
But do the judge know they're not going to put on a defense? The way he said it, is it? No, reindeer. There wasn't 45 minutes of actual court. No. We've been going for 45 minutes.
Please have
This
a
is
seat.
30 minutes of court.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is 30 minutes of court. They
Okay,
could have knocked this out yesterday.
All right, the jury is now out of the courtroom. There is a motion that was filed by the defense, which I'd like to hear now.
What
Yes,
motion are we?
Judge, Ms. Pizzell is going to argue the motion. It's a motion to strike Dr. Stern's testimony as false and misleading.
All right, come on up.
Come on, nose ring.
Rather do it unless you need your laptop with you for this, I'd rather do it up here than do it across the courtroom that way.
No, we want to hear it.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
And
we'd like to hear one part of the defense,
Oh.
just one.
Counsel for the state, whoever, thank you.
but
You may proceed.
that expert, it wouldn't change anything. If it's thrown out.
It's not going to change a lot of stuff, but they're trying to throw out the expert that they challenged with the Dauber hearing.
Yeah, but that was GPS. It was totally useless because they have photos of him moving through town.
Yeah, they had photos of him. They also had the cell phones. They also had the witnesses that said he was there, and they have the cameras. Yeah, so
would you waste court's time? Again, I'm just asking you
Yes.
as a lawyer.
I would. I would file this motion and I would challenge it because one of the underlying issues is the reliability of the data. Remember, they challenged the reliability of this data because it was Motorola, and Motorola's software is
Proprietary
proprietary.
software, yeah.
And they don't actually know how it works. They're kind of guessing is what the defense's position is and their expert position. So I would definitely do this to preserve that issue. Not only for this case, but cases going forward. How reliable is the DNA or the DNA? How reliable is the data if you don't actually have access to the proprietary software that is used to generate the data, right? It's a legitimate legal argument. So I would preserve this definitely.
Yeah, it's like the tool mark thing. To at some point say, well, this is BS.
This case could get kicked back down on that technicality only. And then it would set precedents in Texas that you have to have access to the proprietary software, which would be a good thing to have, right? So that's why you bring this kind of stuff.
We have filed, I believe, last night a motion with this court to, oh, and I actually have a hard copy of the motion coming if I can grab it.
You want one?
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I like that people say, oh, she looks like she's in trouble. Oh, she looks so messy today. I was just thinking about her tatas. And Salvador, she looks like she's into bondage.
Her
So,
eyebrows
turn down the
scare me.
T-lens.
Correct the testimony.
Well, and we have proposed several remedies. One of them would be to strike the testimony entirely, or we've also asked for a curative instruction from this court.
All right.
We have gone back and reviewed the testimony that came in through Dr. Stern on Monday, June 26th. She testified that she, on direct examination, she testified she passed her boards in 2001. However,
this
she
is
not
the
yet
ME.
certified on cross-examination. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
asked, what she was referring to by that, she said my medical pathology boards, and when she was asked on what date she was certified, she said 2001. She's not a board certified medical
So
cannabis.
in her cross, you're saying she said that she had passed her medical pathology boards?
Correct. And then she was.
Do you
asked
have
when
the
she was
testimony
certified.
to that effect?
Well, Your Honor.
She's only 25.
In unofficial transcript, if there's a dispute about it, we are happy to defer to the official transcript by Ms. Lentz.
So what is the unofficial, where did you get the unofficial transcript from?
We created it, Your Honor. As you're aware, this.
The witness lied on the stand. Wouldn't be her first time lying.
So we rewatched it to make sure that we were correctly representing to the court what was said.
So, okay, so go ahead and tell me what you believe she said under, using your unofficial transcript.
Yes, Your Honor, which has been filed with the court as Exhibit A. I'm on page 21 of that document. According to our,
Okay.
according to our transcription, Mr. Pena said, "Doctor, you mentioned that you passed your boards. What exactly were you referring to?" And she said, "The American Academy of Forensic, the American Academy of the American Board of Pathology, my forensic medicine boards given by the American Board of Pathology." Mr. Pena, I see. So what date did you get certified? Stern, it was in 2001. And so our position is that Dr. Stern has at least created the misleading impression that she is a board certified pathologist, which she is not. Mr. Alaniz called her and we had a conversation with her yesterday morning in which she clarified at that point that she only passed her board. She has not been officially certified. However, she is a certified doctor of osteopathy. We recognize that. But since Dr. Stern was introduced as the state's only expert witness on the actual nature of the wound at issue, it's been a major part of their case. There were
I like her.
different medical professionals who saw Dominic at the time of the injury within 24 hours and all reached the same opinion. Dr. Stern is the only medical expert to reach a contrary opinion, and the state introduced that testimony through her.
So The board, all medical doctors have to pass a board, right? Am I saying that correctly? Do y'all know?
believe that to
I mean,
be true.
I don't know that. Maybe perhaps we should have a
That's
doctor.
exactly what they were
But I
doing,
believe that, sort of like a lawyer passing the bar, right?
Yes, exactly.
I think that's the way it's been explained to me. So assuming that that's correct, I hope that whoever's listening to this doesn't think that we are whatever for thinking that. But in any event,
It doesn't matter if she's board
when she said I
certified.
passed the
What
board,
matters is if she lied.
she was being truthful. What
Yep.
your concern is that when at cross, when she said, I think you have the language that you allege she said, which is when she was asked which board did you pass, and she went through a litany of. Was it a laundry list of things, or was this an attempt to describe it?
Your Honor, my interpretation was that it was an attempt to describe. I can read it back if you
Please.
like, because I don't believe any of those assertions were complete. Again, Dr. Stern responded, the American Academy of Forensic, the American Academy of the American Board of Pathology.
Can you slow down just a bit?
Yes, no.
So she said the American Board of Pathology.
Correct. My forensic medicine boards given by the American Board of Pathology.
Nicholas, that medical examiner, when you were on, she apparently lied about her credentials, saying that she was a member, she was board certified when apparently she wasn't. So there's been a motion to strike her entire testimony. That's what we're doing now. So there's actually something happening.
And
Woo.
I am aware that Your Honor has before you Exhibit B to on the pending motion, which is official letter from the American Board of Pathology.
They've already
certifying
impeached her.
That Dr. Stern has not been certified
On
by the
cross.
board. We believe this is yet another issue going to her credibility. And she has been certified as a doctor, but not as certified pathologist. I know many doctors that I would not like performing an autopsy and identifying wounds, even though they have been generally certified as a medical practitioner.
Hey, now Joel Guy Jr. is just about done with his medical
Her
exam
opinion testimony
license.
is kind of the missing link to this part of the state's theory, and it goes against the weight of the other licensed medical professionals.
Right.
We believe this created at least a false impression, and the state has both a duty to correct it, and it would be a constitutional violation if it was allowed to go to the jury as it
All right.
stands.
And you said you have some alternatives with regard to how this should be remedied. You have one at the top of your list, and then you have other options. What are they?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask first that the testimony of Dr. Stern be struck in its entirety. We, in the alternative, would ask that this court issue an instruction informing the jury something to the effect of
Yes,
that
John,
according to the
that's what they're
American
talking
Board of
about.
Pathology, Dr. Stern has not and is not board certified, has not been and is not board certified. That this court issue a further instruction that Dr. Stern's testimony to the contrary should be considered in relation to her testimony as a whole. And 3, that this court instruct the jury that it may reject the entirety of Dr. Stern's testimony and conclusions on the basis of her lack of candor.
Did you say and?
So let me clear this up. So I'm not sure if they caught her on the stand. They probably would have made a big deal about it when she was on the stand. They probably asked her follow-up questions and then later discovered that she wasn't in fact board certified. So filed the motion along with exhibits. And it doesn't sound like the state is challenging the exhibits. What they're challenging is the witness's actual testimony. Did she testify that she was board certified? Which brings in then into question her candidness, essentially. So that's what they're challenging. And it doesn't sound like the state is challenging the fact that she's not board certified. It's just what exactly did she testify to and should it be excluded because of it?
In the conjunctive, or is it disjunctive 2 and 3?
We would defer to Your Honor, but our position, I believe, is clear that we believe the testimony should be stricken in its entirety and at best limited by this court.
I would give it
Thank you. Mr. Alanis.
in this kind of case, I would give it a 7 or an 8.
Supportive of this situation yesterday morning. We did, like Counsel Posel stated, we did call Dr. Stern. I wanted to try to clarify this. Dr. Stern was clear in explaining that she never said she was board certified or a specialist. She said, I passed my boards. I don't consider the transcript that counsel is presenting to the court as being an official transcript. And also, this is compiled from YouTube and other social.
Hi.
Okay, who called it? We run the trial
Also,
now. We are the jury.
That's right. I called on you, sir, not you, your partner.
Holy
It is
boobies!
clear
It's
that
not
Dr.
shirt
Stern
any
did
lower
say
on that lady.
that she passed
She'll
her
walk
forensic
back.
boards
You'll
in
see it.
2001,
Oh
that
no,
she's
you see her back.
member of the
State our defense team, if you're watching, please like and subscribe, because I forgot to like Dave's chat. I hope none of you did.
far cry from
Yeah.
what counsel's alleging that she would have come up here and intentionally misrepresented.
Doesn't matter if she did it
or
intentionally.
given
The
some
question
sort
is,
of false
did she?
impression to the jury. Let's go back to that portion. To the jury, where they're making reference to the questioning by Attorney Peña. That says you mentioned that you passed your boards. What exactly were you referring to?
You're reading from where?
I'm reading from what she submitted
Oh,
to the
okay.
court. And it says Stern, the American Academy of Forensic, the American Academy of American Board of Pathology, my forensic medicine boards given by the American Board of Pathology. That's
What does she mean by that?
whatever it means. She's
Board of Pathology.
yeah, that she's passed her boards. Her
That
tests,
sounds
they
like
pass on
she's
bar
board
exam.
certified, right, guys?
The only thing is, I don't think it's the.
That's where I would connect
I know
the
that when,
lines.
and again, right,
I-
I shouldn't say I know, right?
Well, the thing is this, Your Honor, I really think this is a play on words. Because then Mr. Peña says, I see, so what date did you get certified? Well, it was in 2001, she says. Then he says, now I'd like to talk a little bit about your history. You spent about the last 16 years as a medical examiner for Webb County, correct? And then, that's correct. And then, all right, let's talk about your work as a medical examiner in Alabama. So that's when they went into the Alabama history. So, my concern is this, Your Honor. The jury is the judge of the credibility of the witnesses. What they hear and what weight they give to our experts is up to them, whether they believe all, some, or none of their testimony.
But they should be clarified as to
really,
what was meant.
What the best remedy for this is would be argument. At closing argument, we never presented her as a specialist, a board certified specialist. The record's clear that Dr. Stern was honest in her responses. The one that injects the word certified into the questions is Mr. Peña. But then again, it's that word certified is so broad. If he would have said, "Are you a certified specialist?"
Let's put the word certified out of the equation for a little bit and just concentrate on whether or not she passed her board of pathology.
Yeah, but that's not the question up right now. The question is whether or not the jury should get a special instruction stating specifically that she is not board certified. What the defense really wants is the witness to be admonished in front of the jury and be like, she said that she passed her boards, but we want to make it clear that she is not board certified, to try to indicate in argument that she lied.
Did she say that she had passed her board in pathology?
Yes, she did. She's passed her boards. And,
Well, but in pathology? Because everybody has to get a specialization, right? I mean, I don't know how this works, and perhaps we need clarification on that. How does that, in other words, can you all agree, look it up to see what you all can agree on with regard to how a medical doctor actually gets, in other words, they go to medical school, they go through all the rigors of that. They do their residencies or whatever it is that they do with regard to that, which is very rigorous as well. I have several friends that have gone through that. We both ended up in school, graduate school at the same time, and I finished and they did not, so they stayed behind and finished their work. And then after that they I guess they present their boards and they take a test and they pass or they don't pass the test, and if they don't pass it, they got to do it again. And so that board is what? Is that the board of just medical, whatever it is that you're doing, or what is it that it is as far as you know, Mr.?
as far as Your Honor, all I can say is this, that the proper remedy in this situation already left the station. The time to have done that was under cross-examination to go in depth as to her. If there was a question regarding her licensing, her boards, her certifications, whatever it was.
Yes, this is the one that was sued for
cross-examination
malpractice
is
and
over.
incarcerating
Now
an
they're
innocent
asking the
man.
court to do their job and saying, hey,
The expert they're
strike her
talking about.
testimony because we didn't like what we heard.
But then now we can bring her back.
Well, they could call her back and she could clarify this, but she never got up here and misrepresented anything. She said, I passed my boards, and then he moved on to Alabama.
What I want to know is, did she pass her American Board of Pathology? Because she said American Board of Pathology, or at least that's what the transcript that you read says that. Yes.
Okay, David, could they Zoom call? Find this out, bring her back.
They could do it via Zoom.
This was a phone call Mr. Alaniz made to Dr. Stern yesterday morning when this first arose. She represented to us, again, we are not familiar with the licensing process, but that there is an exam and that is a part, but not the complete certification process. So she was never certified. She asserted that she never testified. She was certified. And to the extent that
Honestly, I think this is a problem that's stemming from the defense counsel's lack of follow-up. It was the guy that last questioned the last witness on the defense team, and I think it was him. Because if you listen to his questions, he asks questions you're not supposed to ask, and then he doesn't have any follow-up. And I don't think he's really listening to the answers so much. And if it was a different attorney, they might have caught that. What do you mean you passed your boards? Are you board certified? Are you currently, anyways, I think that it all kind of stems from that.
the word certified was introduced and offered by Mr. Pena, she did not clarify, no, I am not certified. I passed my boards in 2001. That would have been the opportunity. Surely we can't impeach her with this document because it's not a statement of hers. We gave her the opportunity on cross-examination to clarify the record as she insisted that she has, and it was not done. And I would
So
also.
when was she, okay, certified is one thing and then license is another thing, right? Or is
Yes.
it the same thing?
No, it's
So
not.
When did you
Judge.
become a medical doctor? You have that?
Do we have her
Further
CV
clarify this,
for flip's
with
sake?
full transparency.
It would have her
They have
CV,
her
presumably.
CV, which I have her
Okay,
CV
good.
here, and the court can examine.
And that's part of their exhibit, right?
Mo is genius
They
ever.
have that as far as her background.
Okay, so it says license 2000, Hawaii, 1980. So she was obviously. Well, she did say American Board of Pathology, Forensic Pathology Examination 2001. She does say
Judge, go
that.
back and watch our stream.
To be fair, we were probably talking over her and making fun of her hair.
Absolutely, we were.
Passports.
Dave, I know you're not drunk, but can you call court and
All
say,
she
well,
says is
we have the
that- I don't
evidence.
know what question you all asked her. Asked American Board of Pathology, but it says here that Dr. Grinstern is not a diplomat of the American Board of Pathology. So I don't know what it is that it.
I would ask your Honor respectfully to continue reading the rest and has not been certified by this board.
Right, but. Well, they didn't ask her, have you been certified by the American Board of Pathology? They just said, have you been certified? Are you certified? When were you certified? And so I'm not sure. Wait.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
if you look.
Yeah,
at
this
the mark
and the baby burner phone.
exhibit, which I'm holding,
Oh my God, I feel like
She knows
Adam
under board
Sandler from The Wedding Planner. Like this
Yeah.
could have all been brought to my
And you're
attention
certified
yesterday.
and look what she says on board examinations and certifications. Under the National Board of Osteopathic.
Oh, she's a diplomat.
She's a diplomat. And then look what she says on the American Board of Pathology
Examination.
examination. There's no misrepresentations here, Your Honor. It's all there.
Prosecutor just mic drops. Angry eyebrows.
Okay, so she puts on her CV that she's. I guess the distinction she makes between the National Board of Osteopathic Medical Examiners,
If I thought it was important to the
which
case,
also is a
I
medical
would.
examiner license.
I think
I'm
there
not
might
sure what
be
osteo-
something personal against this witness,
Classic
though,
means,
with defense team.
But that she's a diplomat there since 1996. And
Could
and
be.
the American Board of Pathology, she classified it as forensic pathology examination, 2001. And that CV is not, it is a part of the exhibits.
We did not include it here.
Okay,
We'd like to submit it.
as part of this, for this hearing.
Yes.
Judge, do you want it to be another state's non-jury?
I guess it would, whatever you'd like, it's for purpose of this particular hearing, and they've attached their exhibits to their motion.
We would say if it's gonna be made an argument.
We've been talking about her hairstyle and her nose ring the entire trial, expert.
A trial exhibit.
Oh,
She's a law school professor, by the way,
That was-
or at least a professor somewhere. I think it's law school.
Even in our closing, I will not, my intention is not to go up there and call her a specialist or that she's board certified. I wasn't gonna even use those words in my closing. She's a medical examiner and that was her opinion. What they have on their side is they have the ER, they have.
This defense has
Dr.
kind of been phoning it in the whole way,
Rodriguez,
MG
and
Law.
then they have the other clinic saying it was an insect bite. You know, it's what the jury decides to believe.
But
The,
to the defense's credit, this expert that they're
Okay, what was
arguing
the
about
remedy that you,
wrongfully
your remedy
convicted a man
is
and was sued.
just leave it the way it is, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would,
Aside from number one.
okay, aside from number one, if your honor. chooses
Yes,
not
and
to
the
strike
skunk-like
Dr.
hair.
testimony, we would request an instruction from this court instructing the jury that she is not board certified by the American Board of Pathology, that her answer.
Well, see, I don't know if I could say that other than saying that she's not a diplomat of the American Board of Pathology.
Well, Your Honor, we would also stipulate to
Because that's not what
admission
this
of
is.
the exact language from that letter. So the full sentence of the board being that she is not a diplomat and has not been certified by this board, going to the jury as an instruction relating to Dr. Stern's credibility as a whole and her opinions and conclusions in this case.
I'm gonna have to sort of like run through that. Okay, okay, number two was basically an instruction saying that Dr. Stern,
Perhaps according to the American Board of Pathology, Dr. Stern is not a diplomat and has not been certified by the board.
see, the thing is this, it's very difficult unless you all agree to the instruction to allow the instruction in, because it'll be an evidentiary instruction of some sort without having evidence actually in. And so I hate for it to be a comment one way or another on the weight of any part of the evidence. So
Okay, just do it anyways.
as much as I hate it, they just Mr. Alanis, as much as I hate it, it would have to, if you all could find the words to perhaps agree on in terms of that, that as opposed to an instruction on what Dr. Stern is not a certified diplomat of the American Board of Pathology. I think she would probably testify that if she came to testify, she would testify that she is not a diplomat of the American Board of Pathology. That would be an easy stipulation to make.
Sorn, same. I can't
And,
look her directly in the eyebrows.
And so that would then be able to be used by defense at argument that in fact she is not a diplomat of the American Board of Pathology, and therefore and that she may have said this or that with regard to that particular question, because that particular question in its entirety was not asked. It was asked sort of like in pieces after her response was. And I don't know if are you certified, if it should have been, are you certified via the American Board of Pathology as opposed to are you just certified?
Well, yes, Yes, Your Honor, in context, immediately following her response that she passed her forensic course
Oh.
of the American Board of Pathology and was asked when she was certified, and she gave the date that she passed the examination. I believe that, that was her opportunity to clarify, as she insists.
You have to ask the questions. I get it. Okay, so that's what because you're saying that I should instruct them that she is not, and then you're saying I should also.
We can get skunk
instruct
hair
them-
defense and redhead at the prosecutor's table to duke it out, MMA style.
To clarify, goes to her credibility in this room and consider it.
I'm here
Okay.
mentally fixing her
and-
hair.
And so, on your end, Mr. Sonis, you're saying, I don't think you need any instruction. I think the jury should be left the way it is.
I don't think
and-
anybody knows, see,
I
what
really, I
exactly they're
strongly should
talking
agree that
about.
you all should, because other than that stipulation, it would have to be her be brought back, and then you would have to ask her those questions.
Well, Your Honor, yesterday, when we were discussing.
They're arguing over whether or not
Mr. Allen, you said potentially-
the expert witness, the ME, essentially misled her credentials on the stand, and whether or not there should be special instructions or her testimony stricken.
But again, it's the spider bite. It's totally irrelevant. They wasted more time on this motion than the cross-examination of the closing witness.
Mr. Benya, Mr. Bogg.
That'd be the only way that we would concede.
One of the, you, her CV and this letter.
As long as, Judge, I would also ask for a stipulation so that we could read her testimony during arguments. And I understand there isn't an official transcript.
But there, if you ask for it, there could be an argument, probably. It'll just take a little bit to get it out, but an argument. I'm not even looking at my court reporter right now.
I'm very fond of Ms. Lentz, Your Honor, and I've bothered her a lot over these years, so
Sal,
We would look for it and then we'd see, and I say we as if.
that's really not
and
anything about how she looks.
Our best to be-
It's about 101% of women on the earth
It's not
human
a,
smash.
There's no daily here, so as a result of that.
And with the nose ring, she could be a little sappy, so you could get a twofer.
You could be justice for Sal.
We'll cover the case.
We will, and we'll only make fun of it all the
I thought
way.
you said you agreed
No,
with it.
we object to the court commenting or instructing the jury
Oh.
on the testimony of Dr. Stern. That is the purview, that is the area of the jury.
Oh, that's exactly what I want to avoid. I want to avoid that. So to avoid that, I think that you'd get your CV in, you get the American Board of Pathology letter in, and then you all would leave it up to argument after that.
Well, I think right now a request was made, Your Honor, that her transcript be read in whatever way defense counsel wants to read it.
Well, that was in conjunction with this.
Well, correct. The problem is though, is now things can be taken out of context.
That's your job to argue for or against.
But the thing is, it's being taken out of context.
I'm not even sure it's going to be your job, actually. It's going to be Mr. Alaniza's
Yes,
job.
it will be. And the thing is now it's going to be taken out of context without the witness on the stand to defend herself as to a clarification or what exactly it was that she meant by that testimony.
It is what it is. I mean, it is what it is.
Your Honor,
You can leave this right here till Baker notices
I
it.
mean, you can very easily clarify the way Mr. Alaniz just did now.
That was
She didn't
told
say she was a
to you in
diplomat, she
secret.
said she was under examination of it. In fact, she wasn't asked whether she was a diplomat. She was asked whether she was certified.
That woman's shirt is gonna fall down, and we are gonna see some boobs in this.
That's my hard inclination.
Don't
So
make promises.
what's your heart?
That would make
to allow both
yesterday
documents
kind of
in-
worth it.
as evidence, if y'all would so be inclined, and to allow that in, I think that it would then be
See,
Your
Swap,
Honor,
that
the
makes
other-
sense to me.
The other alternative I would ask the court to consider is having Dr. Stern testify telephonically. We can get her on the phone. She can be thoroughly examined on these questions. And that way. the
No,
jury-
don't give your witness an opportunity to explain herself.
The doctor herself. Which I don't think would
Oh
take
Lord, no! Don't bring her back.
That would be over our objection if the court ruled. She testified in person, and we believe that the.
Where is she?
Well, she was released. We have to track her down, but.
Well, you tracked her down last night, right? Where was she
I
last
called
night?
her yesterday in the morning when I was advised.
Where was she
She was
yesterday?
out of town. But I could find out if she's in town. I could find out if she's here, Your Honor.
No, she's not. She's not in Alabama.
Just
So-
have
so in any
a
event,
breaking in the case. I found the real suspect.
Right.
I mean, that
The ninja
that
spider.
would not be the most efficient way of doing things, but quite frankly,
Have we done anything efficiently in this case?
Nope.
take a look at that.
Okay.
We wasted
Because
time
their request
during
is also not being, in other words, I'm not striking her.
The most efficient
testimony.
thing we've done in
I'm
this
not
case
instructing
is
the
for the
jury with
judge to
regard
swear
the
in
weight
all the
that
witnesses
they
at
could give
once.
this evidence.
Do you remember
basically
back in
just
the olden
saying,
days where we saw that
this
and thought,
has to be
this is going to be a
considered.
fast trial?
And
They're
you
gonna
all
get right
give
through
it
it.
whatever
I know.
consideration
We were
you
so
want to
misled
give
by
it.
that.
And you all could basically
It's,
argue
oh my God.
what her words were in consideration to what the facts are.
At a minimum, Judge, that's what we would ask. And I believe that if that is the court's ruling, it would be over our objection because it is not enough to cure it based on the testimony that's had. And I can foresee a circumstance where if there is a guilty verdict and a death sentence that previous lawyer will
You
go
can
back
explain that one, Baker. Oh,
Yeah, I think Tweet is a
No
little
question.
behind.
And if they believed that Dr. Stern was a board certified pathologist, and based on everything that's happened so far, I believe that they will say yes.
Unless they find the ninja spider, what does it matter?
also, you guys, I'm stealing Attack Recluse as my new superhero
Very much.
moniker.
Or she can just be cross-examined.
Oh, for the love of Cheetos.
Telephonically, Judge, I do not.
No. It would have to be by video, the way your expert came in.
Telephonically. I'm going to use that from now on. Husband, I'm telephonically telling you things.
Well, but that it is my suggestion, but I was hoping that both of you would accept the suggestion as opposed to having Mr. Boggs
It is
under, despite the fact that I think it was his idea to begin with, come up and say it'll still be over our objection. I guess he wants to create that sort of possibility.
Or we can meet with them and just see if we can agree.
All right.
I don't think it'll take 10 minutes.
All right,
Did
let's
you
do
put
that.
Sal in
And then right
timeout?
after that, you're going to head out to the jail to consult with, can we take him down there already, or do you need him here for some reason?
I believe he can go, but Judge, we cannot start to consult with him until we.
The time, I will not start the clock until you leave. Do you want to go to the tunnel or I'm just kidding. Until you leave the, you're going to be like my,
I have a feeling
like
this is
my
going to be a
kids,
very
you know,
short
it's like,
day today.
don't start the clock yet until I actually start the game. And then, my 15 minutes
Thank
are
you.
up
I
then.
did the blue on blue on blue today. I thought it looked good.
So, you walk fast. I'll start counting after y'all leave the offices. The jury's not going to be back till 1. So anyways.
Oh my God, the jury's not
so
back till
you may
1.
not be
What,
able to eat
are we
today.
going to have a hearing?
Thank you. So get back to me here in 10 minutes or so. Please confer.
Baker, please explain the spider bite.
Well, just
Well, there is a puncture mark, a single puncture mark on the thigh of the baby. This appeared after the first time the baby and the defendant met at a park. The mom wasn't really sure. She left the baby alone with the dad, but maybe went to the car to get something. And this thing started getting worse. He couldn't walk. And 3 doctors, or 3 times, the doctor said, it's a spider bite, but the expert they're trying to keep out now said the necrosis in the wound was in the wrong place, so it could be a puncture wound by a needle. And luckily enough, they found 2 needles in closed packages in this guy's van. And as we heard today, he was on test. So he had a reason to have the needles. There hasn't been anything saying if it was or wasn't a spider bite, but we wasted more than a day talking about a spider bite that's totally irrelevant to this case.
And
And
let's-
again, 3 times the doctor said it's a spider bite.
And let's be clear, this child did not die from the spider bite or the puncture wound or anything like that. The child died from a knife wound.
2 knife wounds.
Weeks later or something. So
15 days later.
15 days later, yeah. So has nothing to do with the cause of death of this child. They spent half of the opening talking about it. They spent the rest of the first day talking about it. They spent first part of the second day talking about it. Then they went into it again yesterday. All right. Yeah. And now we've had a hour worth of argument involving it as well. So it's just none of it actually is relevant. And I'm surprised they're able to get it in. I think what they're trying to do is get it in for motive purposes. He tried to kill the baby earlier and didn't succeed. And so now he tried again, took out the mom this time too. And I think that's what they're trying to do. But it's not essential to the case.
And again, they didn't find any drugs in his system or anything, and he didn't die of overdose or anything. The only thing about this thing is there was necrosis in the bottom of the wound, not in the top of the wound, and that made the medical expert, who has been sued before because she put an innocent man in jail, to believe that this couldn't be a spider bite, even though 3 times the mother visited the doctor and they said it's a dog bite of some kind. And there's no evidence to the contrary, that there's no pictures of him stabulating the kid in the leg. There's no picture of him in the park with a needle or anything. They just found an 18 gauge and Jamie, what's the other gauge? 14? What was the other one they found?
It was 14.
Two different needles in his bag, and he was using test. So he had a perfectly good reason. Well, not good reason, it's illegal, but he had a reason to have those needles.
Yeah, and
Wasn't he prescribed it though for doucheness or something? I don't know.
You can go to your doctor and say, well, I feel like my T levels are low. And then if you have the right doctor, he say, well, your T levels are very low.
Apparently you can get all kinds of stuff from your doctor, right, Jamie?
Yeah, it's very common. That's actually a very common medication. We dispense a lot of it.
So, but the underlying issue was the witness, the medical examiner who examined the body of the child after death. First of all, was she able to accurately assess that it was not a spider bite, but in fact an injection? Is that real? That it was, how was she able to determine that after the fact when you have a pediatrician with 3 separate examinations in real time saying, no, it's a spider bite, people. So why is it that this medical examiner is saying that it's a puncture wound? It seems a bit odd. And then if you can poke holes more in her credibility by saying, well, she said that she passed her boards, but she's not board certified. So let's get that clarified. It really just goes to more of her credibility issues. Also, the fact that she testified. Well, also the fact that she was impeached by a very bad ruling of a homicide when in fact it was a natural death, which landed a man in prison for 4 years or something before he was eventually exonerated. And there were 6 other MEs that contradicted her findings. So she was impeached by that already. So this is kind of just adding to the stack. But at the end of the day, you're attacking motive. You're not attacking an element of the crime.
And as we all have learned, motive is not important in trials. You don't have to show motive.
Yeah, okay. So, and I don't do death penalty, so I don't really focus on that. But maybe C's right here that they're trying to use it to emphasize the death penalty that he tried prior.
But again, He didn't try with the mother.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
It
did she get a spider bite that day? Then you can say, well, he tried killing them both before.
so you would have to be, if you're him, holding a toddler, and it was on the inner thigh, right?
I can't
Yes.
even. Yeah,
So
I feel
holding
like it was. I can't remember. exactly.
whatever you have while in a short period of time, and kids about 18 months know what shots are. Try getting a 1-year-old into that room when they're like, and the nurse is coming back with shots. Oh, hells no. So
yeah,
it
and we
just
haven't
doesn't.
heard anyone say the kid wouldn't be near him after that. I have taken my kids to the doctor too, and after a stab, they are not very keen on being near to the person who stabbed them, and it's just again what I'm coming back to is it's not. If I was in a state, I would say, yeah, just toss that. We wasted 2 days on a spider bite theory that doesn't make any sense. We have him going to the scene, communicating with her up until the time of death, and we have him leaving the scene.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yes, but I think the emphasis too is on the death penalty. I think that's the right track. I think C and O Line Red have it right that the death penalty is really what they're aiming for. And in order to do that, you really need to make this a heinous crime. He tried it already once by injecting the child with something, and then that was unsuccessful. So then he took a knife, met him in the park.
But we have heard all the evidence they have put forward for the spider bite theory. Was there a spider bite or was there a puncture wound from a needle? We have seen the pictures where all of us said, well, it looked like an insect bite, and it doesn't make it clear to me that he was trying to murder his baby before. Yeah, we have the text of, you're not going to like what I do in a couple of weeks, but there's no drugs. The doctors, until the sister said, well, I think he stabbed him in the leg. Until then, everybody was believing this was an insect bite of some kind.
Yeah, the weakest part of the case is really the whole bug bite versus injection bite, things like that. The stronger evidence is definitely towards the fact that he committed the murders. The question is did he attempt to do it prior?
Yeah, and they haven't proven that. That one, if he was charged with both of those, I would fry him on the murder, but the attempted murder, you haven't proven that.
No.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're
Proven
welcome.
you want to waste our time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the big problem is, as one was saying in the chat, it muddies the case because you're sitting there thinking, why is this spider bite? We wasted 10% of the time talking about a spider bite. What's important about it? Now this expert is going to be probably called back to talk about not being board certified, and still, it doesn't change. You have two bodies. Those two bodies happened 15 days after the alleged stabbing of the leg with the needle. He had a perfectly good reason to have the needles in his car. Those needles wasn't used. Again, did you have a brown recluse syringe with the DNA on it? Put it in. But this one, muddy.
Yeah, it's just it.
I'm actually going to call the court and see if they're planning on going back on the record before the jury comes back at 1:00 of their time.
Or we could have a little break.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, no, the judge isn't coming back.
Mop the floor.
So I'm going to call the court again real quick, and I'll be back.
Okie dokie.
I was calling that court.
Well, Sandra, I don't know why they want to get the needle spider bite out of the jury's mind, because we're a jury. We're normal people watching the case. And I'm just angry that they wasted so much time not proving there was something injected into the kid. And I know people in chat is talking about, well, the necrosis could be because he didn't clean the area, so it brought bacteria down into the muscle. Probably. They didn't say it in chat, in court, sorry. And the big problem is, why use so much of your time talking about a totally irrelevant thing that only became relevant because the sister talked about it after they found the needles. She's sleeping on the floor. She's been a little zoomy all day, so I'm just sleep. And Stephanie, no, you didn't miss much. Today has been 30 minutes of cross of the guy who finished yesterday, and then they did a recross and a recross, and all they got out of him was, I find, some stuff, and it wasn't really anything. It was a waste of time. We could have ended yesterday. And
Yeah,
American Dreamer toxicology come back clean.
yeah, the thing is, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I mean, if you're a Texas jury, you know all the brown recluses and what you guys have. If you live, you know, this is near the border, you have brush. I'm sure everyone knows someone who's gotten a bug bite. Are you going to think bug bite? Or are you going to think that man who stabulated someone or two people in the middle of Cop Central is smart enough to try to James Bond assassinate people? This would be my jury pitch when people are like, he totally tried to get. No, man is stupid. Man is caught on all of the cameras.
And WV, it's fine that the defense lawyer has a unique look, but it's a courtroom. You have a certain decorum, and we make fun of everybody. And
Here's the thing.
a lot of
She
people
could
have made fun of Mo's hair too, and I think it's pretty.
She could have an interesting hair highlight pattern. That could be a thing. But when she doubles it with looking like she threw up her bun, you know, in 5 seconds after clubbing all night, that's the problem. You can have one or the other. You can have crazy hair with a traditional look, or you can have, you know, crazy look, traditional
hair. You can be
hair.
a little goth without being full goth.
Yeah, it looks sloppy. That's what we're mostly joking about.
Okay, no break for us.
Oh,
The court said they're going back in shortly.
Shortly meaning like 5 hours from now?
They're going back in. I asked, I said, are they going to go back on the record before 1 o'clock when the jury returns? And yes, they are, is what I was told, that they're going back in. So I don't know when that is.
Excited, you don't have to take back anything you said about me, because I know you only said nice things about me. And I'm sorry, could we use another, what's it called, shortening of death penalty than DP? Because I read that all the wrong ways.
Who's? I didn't even see it in the chat. Who's?
It's Sandra.
Oh.
And I know people do it, but I'm a pervert.
I have to not giggle every time I see it.
Yes. Me and Mo don't say a word. We just giggle.
And that's my big speech was yesterday. Everybody wants this to be a Sherlock Holmes case. They want to see all the little, if he had his hand this way, then he could stab the kid without the mom seeing. He's a stupid Border Patrol agent who's on testosterone because he's too vain to exercise in a proper way, and he slept around. And when the baby mama wanted child support, he tried to get her to bed again. He's not a criminal mastermind. He is not.
No, he's not.
He wouldn't. I can't see him putting a plot together. And again, put some fentanyl on the kid and say, well, he was playing in the dirt and found a small bag. It would be easier.
Yeah, you missed.
No Israel keys.
Skunk Lawyer did some questioning early on in this case, and then she just made a fairly substantial motion argument, held her ground. She did good. I don't know her role because everyone does something a little different. But, yeah. So anyways, yeah, apparently we are waiting. Just patiently. See, the court's still going. What happened? There we go. See, we're just waiting. The court reporter, by the way, if you want to know whether or not the court is going to be going on record anytime soon, you talk to the court reporter because they're the ones that have to be in there. And the court reporter said that, yes, they are going back on the record again. So, Cruella Light.
Well,
anyways,
she was really nicely put together dress-wise.
Yes.
She looked very professional.
And then
yeah,
the
it's just her hair, really.
Yeah,
And
her
then the
clothes
state had
fits
their
and match.
shirt down to here. I was like,
I am the no. No, they don't. So the people who answer are the clerks. And then you ask the clerks, and they're like, well, I'm not sure. I'm not in the courtroom. Is there something going on? And then you explain it to them. And then they go talk to the people in the know, namely the court reporter. When you ask questions about, are you going back on the record? And then they come back to you on the phone and be like, yep, the court reporter said they're going back. So I said, all right.
The real thing is Dave calls up, said, do you know who I am? I'm pretty big on YouTube. So can you just ask the judge?
So it's
I'm
funny
the
because I
media now.
usually say, hi, I'm Attorney David Helm, Helm Law, and I got a, case pending or whatever. But now I've got to switch it to, I still say I'm Attorney David Helm from MLS Law Show. And we're covering this trial, and I'd really like to know, and, you'd be pleasant and sweet, and then you just got to know how to sweet talk those clerks. Salvador will learn it as he's in court more often.
Salvador, we're gonna have to change it. Hello, we are part of the contingency of LayTube.
Speaking of, actually, you know what? Why don't we? Isn't Nicholas live right now? Why don't we stream snipe
I
him?
have no
Because
idea.
he's starting a new trial, and I think Salvador's going to be involved with that, and maybe in court, right?
Yeah. He asked me how to dress, and I said, ask the court because I don't know what church means in Arizona. Like
I told him,
beads and crystals or
oh,
what?
it starts in 102 minutes. Oh, I thought it was going now. I thought he said like 11:30. Anyways, I told him, I said, dress like you are a banker working for a mortgage company downtown. I said, you can't go wrong with that. So you don't have to wear a suit, but dress like you're a banker working for a mortgage company in a downtown city. And that's good advice for anybody. The nicer you dress in court, the better your service will be. Every once in a while, I'll run in there in like sweatpants and a flannel because I just got to file something, and I'm treated like a defendant because I'm like, no, here's my bar card. I'm a licensed attorney, and then they're cool. But the better you dress, the better you will be treated in court. It is what it is.
Salvador, pick the plaid one. I'm just saying.
Yeah, with the ruffles like Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, if it looks like a Swedish band outfit, get it.
Yes, definitely. And we want photos of you in the courthouse to prove that happened.
Yeah.
White buttons on the jeans and the great 70s lapels. and a couple of numbers too big, so you really look like a kid going to prom in his dad's suit.
Yeah, so I thought he was doing it at 11:30. I would have sent him a link for today, this morning, but I thought he was going to be busy, so I didn't. I'll send him a link now, see if he wants to jump on and join us. Oh.
Mass, in Danish court, it doesn't mean that much. We see all kind of people sitting in the gallery and watching along. But it's just a small.
What's that?
Mass just asked if he should dress not like a frequent court client.
So Salvador was like, should I wear this and that? I was like, well, you don't want to look like you're a defendant who was dressed by his attorney. I see it all the time. They come in like sort of shabby pants or ripped jeans or something like that that are like too big for them, and then they have a shirt freshly out of the package with still like the fold seams on it, and I'm like, I know your mother went and bought that for you last night, but maybe iron it, buy some pants too, buy something that fits.
And again, if you're going in for a rape case, maybe let the push-up bra and the skimpy shirt be in the closet, because I have told you about the case my mom were a juror on, where the girl who found out she was raped the next day when she went back to her boyfriend with the tatas beneath her cheek and crop top and a mini skirt so short that you could see her underwear. It isn't the best look when you're going for a grape, especially because you said, well, yeah, I just thought about I didn't want to do it when he was finished. So
I guess, when in doubt, look at what the attorneys are wearing, because again, you want to be dressed as you don't have, you can wear a suit. I would wear a suit. If I was going to go sit in the courtroom, I'd wear a suit because you get treated like an attorney. And so whatever the attorneys are wearing, wear that. When in doubt, just dress like the attorneys. But you don't have to wear a tie and a jacket. Well, I would recommend a jacket. You don't have to wear the tie if you don't want to, because you're not actually practicing in front of the bar, so you're okay.
Yeah, but son, you're a degenerate, so of course you would trust her. And then you would ask for a number.
If I had a suit that fits, I would. I just got this jacket down at Men's Warehouse in Florida because I went down to Florida knowing I had a Zoom hearing and completely forgot to bring a tie and a jacket. I brought a shirt, so I had to go run and grab a jacket and a tie. So
and if you go with a nice jacket, you can buy pretty good jackets at Goodwill. It doesn't have to be that expensive. It's
well, even that, it's not so much the jacket. Buy something of decent material at Goodwill, and then go to a tailor. And for like what, $50, they'll tailor it for you right up, so it fits properly. And so you spend $50 on, maybe not even 50. You spend $20 on the jacket at Goodwill. Maybe you can go to a cheaper tailor and whatever. I mean, you can get a decent jacket.
And again, maybe not overthink the dress. A nice pair of slacks that hasn't been curled up in the bottom of the closet for a week. A shirt not fresh out of the package. And still, you look better than 99% of the people being there.
Yep.
Only if you want to start a thigh fire, you can use polyester.
They should have a suit. They should have a suit and tie filter on Zoom. They absolutely should. I wish I could do StreamYard, because then I could just like position myself perfectly and not move my head. Just be sitting there in my pajamas doing Zoom. Never dress like Hunter S. Thompson. That was too extreme. Even for Colorado. Where's this case out of? Is it Arizona or is it Colorado? The one that Nicholas is covering?
Arizona.
Arizona? Okay. Yeah, I don't know what they wear in Arizona. I don't
Cowboy
know.
hat.
I was going to say, do you like leather boots and a cowboy hat?
Well, they said church clothes, but I didn't know if they meant like metaphysics church, where it's like crystals and you bring your own shrieking bowl. So I was like, ask the court, because I don't know. Maybe it's like a wizard's robe. And
we have seen some very nice church jogging pants. We haven't seen any wife beaters yet. We have seen wife beaters, but not the shirt. But I could see a nice casual tank top on a guy with a too big of a moob area and some very bad tattoos.
Dress like Salvador Dali.
oh my God.
Dress like
yes.
Salvador Dali.
Wax your mustache to do the little doodad.
Yes. Dress like Salvador Dali. You need to. That's your whole persona. You need to do it.
Yeah.
And take the cat with you and say it's an emotional support animal or something. Complete with cane and like every other accoutrement.
There we go. That's what you need to look like, just like your little icon there, or avatar, whatever it's called.
It really will be justice for Sal. He'll be in contempt, and we'll have to fundraise him out. We'll have to help him write his 400-page, dissertation on why being in court is special.
I feel like Josie's about 2 minutes behind us.
Yeah. Yesterday we was waiting for the testimony to be translated. So we have to hear it and then wait the 10 seconds because there's always 10 seconds delay on YouTube. So we were sitting.
I did hear that. I was listening in. Yeah, you guys would ask the question again. That's when I was trying to slam Jamie, and my voice to text was all kinds of screwed up.
Yep.
How did your bearing go? Bearding go?
That was slick, Dave. It was slick.
It was like, how did my building go?
No, your bearding.
Bearding.
He sent me a message this morning.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
see you later, but I have to go to a bearding at 8:30. And I wrote back, well, a nice bearding is always nice, better than a meeting.
Yeah, yes.
So
Yes. I'm
this-
asking Nicholas how his toilet's working. I'm talking about beardings with Baker. Yes. But yeah, bearding. Yeah, that's what. Is that even a word?
it didn't come up like
Apple thought it was a word.
Yeah, it's a word now.
Oh, hang on. American Dreamer wants to see you in a wife beater.
Only if I have an emergency on the way to a family gathering. Come on, Jamie, that was funny. You have to laugh at that one. You didn't get it?
I know. I saw him. It was funny because he was like, Jimmy. And I'm like, who's Jimmy? What's he fucking say?
Jamie's not paying attention. She's dealing her. She's peddling her meth.
Yeah, I am. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell bearding is. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what bearding means. Is it a word? We're gonna look it up now.
It's a word on Apple because the diminution of the edge or surface of a piece of timber from a given line, as in the stern, deadwood, etc. of a ship. You should know that. You're a woodsman.
Well, see, now when I pull it up, it says boldly confronting a challenge.
You could do that on a ship too.
I suppose. Yeah, you could.
If you are sailing around Africa's Horn or something.
It's Old English of West German origins. All right, very Dutch. To face, meet, or deal with, yeah, see, with an unpleasant. But isn't that like, okay, so your mental state in this situation is sanguine. When you are calm, like facing a challenge is sanguine. And I know that because I absolutely love that word. And then I made like a whole drawing about the sanguine penguin. So I remember that. But it seems like bearding is the same thing. So you could be bearding in a sanguine state. Okay. Dutch does
Word
not
of the
equal
day
Denmark.
brought to you by the F word.
Did Jung just figure out that the Dutch and Danes are not the same?
And funnily enough, the Pennsylvania Dutch are not Dutch either. They're German.
I know, right? Yeah, it's weird. It's all
Again.
kinds of weird.
We are a
Americans.
strange species.
The camera is shaking. Do we have movement? I don't see heads. I always look for the judge's head to walk by.
Oh, we are not past 2 hours. I can say I would like to see some head. That would be wrong to stay online.
Leave out the D, American Dreamer says. Then it is bearding. Yes. But that is not what my Apple device decided it wanted to send Baker this morning. What now? Oh, my watch is telling me.
Oh, Tweety found it, and it makes perfect sense.
Well, it's funny to me that you don't even like just double check what you're.
Well, yeah, a beard is your female friend that pretends that they're with you when you're not into female friends.
Exactly. Yes.
He's a beard.
Yep. Nice. Thank you, Tweety, for that. So I was bearding this morning before the stream.
You were trying to make sure that someone wasn't gay?
I know. I have no idea.
I am so.
So the last update on the iPhone has been so bad. My voice to text have not always been this bad. They've been bad, but the new update has been really bad.
I like when you called me God. That was funny. It's the Steam God, and I was like, "What?"
Well, every time I also say Mo in the voice to text, there's like 5 different options to which my phone will select at random. It's either M-O, M-O-E, M-O-E-H. It's like spells it all kinds of different ways.
Dinosaur.
I am a woman of mystery.
Dinosaur trials on break. They've been on break for an hour and 10 minutes.
I was going to say 30 minutes on a 10-minute break.
Yeah, what was the one? I won't start the clock until you talk to someone. And this judge haven't started a clock ever.
No,
He,
never.
he goes by a sundial.
He said, I'm going to wait for you to walk out of the room, and then I'm counting the minutes. Okay, Judge.
He's never counted anything. He doesn't care.
Yes, this is exactly right.
Yeah, never in my life have I been ducking anything.
Wait, hang on. There's my stream set up. Friend left out the D and got him kicked. What? Legal Voices says his friend left out the D and got all.
His friend was writing something on Twitter and then wrote it.
I know
wrote
what
it
a
wrong.
bear is.
Yeah. So his Twitter blew up because beard and bear is two different things.
He was like talking about grooming his.
I can't remember
Jamie's
what he was
like,
saying.
we don't know you people.
Do you know what a bear is, Jamie?
Jamie's pretending not to
Jamie's
know us.
ignoring us.
Explain it. No, I don't. Tell me all about it. Yeah. Let's hear it.
It's a big woodland creature.
Yeah.
I believe you have two kinds in the U.S., the grizzly and the black bear. One of those are living on the west coast south. It's the black bear, I believe, down by California. In Denmark, because we own Greenland, we have ice bears, and they're the biggest land-living predator. And I know that Coca-Cola uses them for advertising, but it's not.
Ice bears.
Thank you, Iris.
Ice bears.
Yeah, ice bears.
I was like, what the hell is an ice bear?
It's a polar bear, but we call them ice bears.
Iris,
sense.
I put Baker's link here in the.
Thank you.
Funny story, just to fill the time. When I was a soldier, you do know that polar bears cover their nose because their nose is black.
Yes.
With their paws, so they can hunt. And we had this guy. We were out doing some maneuvers because it was close to the flying into houses in New York thing. So we were out a lot, and we were probably a bit tired. And he said, "Oh, when the polar bear covers its nose, it turns invisible." And everybody was just so. 20 years later, when we talk about it, polar bears are invisible. It's just like horses being birds or whatever it is. So
wait, aren't horses imaginary and birds are like? What is it? What's that conspiracy
Dinosaurs?
Theory? No, there's a conspiracy theory that Flux and Nick always talk about. Damn it, I can't remember. Like, birds aren't real.
Horses
birds are
real.
robot, and horses are.
Horses aren't real. I've heard
Horses
that
are
one.
vegetables or something.
So I'm not
Horses
trying
are
to
fruit.
translate
Horses
Danish
are
jokes
fruit.
again.
Yeah, horses are fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, horses are fruit, and birds aren't real. They're tiny robots. Yes.
They're spying on us.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, those are the conspiracy theories.
Son, I know it's polar bears, but I try to learn these Americans some proper language because ice is white and polar bear is white, so an ice bear. It makes sense if you think about it. But again, America.
Listen, my HOA may or may not have just lit on fire in the last week $10,000. So for a display. And no one lost a finger. It was upsetting.
Did you see that? Oh, wait. Hey, man, I just saw you. How long you been in there?
Do what? I just showed up.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, welcome, the expert.
No. Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. We are killing time waiting for this court that seems to be taking siestas every 20 minutes or so to get back on the record.
Well, I heard somebody say birds aren't real, and I knew I was coming to the right place.
Yes, birds aren't real, and horses are fruit, apparently.
And that sounds like nonsense right there, but birds are definitely not real. Have you ever seen that guy?
No, I've heard about it. I haven't seen it.
It's the dude's name is Peter. I don't know his last name, but he was some dude in Memphis, of all places. And he bought a billboard that says "Birds aren't real," and the news interviewed him. And the guy, the interview is absolutely some of the best stuff you'll ever find on the internet. He's just like, yeah, I want to bring out the truth here. Of course, the best place to do it is right here in the Paris of the South, Memphis, Tennessee. And I mean, he's just the guy.
David, are you not looking for this clip?
Awesome.
I feel like I need to engage Farrell.
Wait, what clip?
It's Birds Aren't Real Memphis interview.
Okay, let me pull this up.
Like WREG in Memphis. It's a weird thing. I found it years ago, and then like it becomes that deal where it's like, yeah, birds aren't real, and it's the joke that it's the icebreaker you can do at parties, that where if you say like the earth is flat, people will freak out. But if you say the birds aren't real,
Birds
they're like,
aren't real. Baker, I don't. Well, yeah, I guess Baker. Have you met the expert yet? I don't
Never.
know
Like your
No, I
accent,
don't
man.
believe so.
I know, Jamie, you've been in this chat
There you go.
before, haven't you?
One time.
So this is Jamie, and then Mo is above us. And I'm gonna pull
How you
this
guys
banner
doing?
down
Thanks for having me
because-
here, guys.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
We're
Okay,
just
so this
killing
is
time, so the more the merrier, because this has been the boringest trial ever.
This
ridiculous.
trial is pure, uncut Colombian Ambien.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, right. All right, so let's look at Birds Aren't Real.
Or heard the story on Wednesdays Live at 9. A campaign called Birds Are Not Real brings its efforts to the Mid-South.
And this morning, we are joined by one of the messengers of the movement. Peter McIndoe is here to tell us how this all.
So first of all, is this guy just trolling everybody, or is he like sincere?
This guy is a genius. is what
Okay,
it is.
why
all right.
did we put the man with the biggest, roundest face next to the woman who looks like Skeletor?
That is a good point.
Wait, first of all, so let me address Nicholas's thing that bees are fish in California. There's a statute, and it's part of California's like Wildlife Act, and then there's a bunch of like the Department of Natural Resources, whatever, basically identified bees or fish as bees so that they fell into a certain category and were protected a certain way or something like that. So essentially, bees and fish are the same thing under California law. That's real. That's how they're interpreting it.
Look, you can
Well, hold on,
blame
wait a
us
second.
recovering Catholics. We invented Lent, but then we're like, okay, well, beaver is technically a fish because it lives in the river, so you can have that during Lent. We're sorry.
What
And
were
if
you
you go
saying,
by
Peter?
the dictionary, that fish, there's no such thing as a fish. There's a pretty big English podcast about from a quiz show where they talk about it, because there's no definition of a fish because it's all subspecies. So there's no such thing as a fish. So there's no such thing as a bee. That's the logical conclusion.
Okay. All
It's
right.
just facts.
Is Aquaman a mermaid?
Yes.
Okay, just one.
Yeah.
I thought he was a seaman.
Only
I
on the
don't know
Dark
this
Horse
person
comics.
Came about, we want to emphasize you were not the founder.
Oh my God! Look at this guy.
Wow.
I mean,
So
you gotta
how
love
did
that,
you
right? He
become
goes,
aware of
this
it?
is the
What
morning
is the
news. This is
message
their
of the
big
movement?
morning thing.
The message of the movement is essentially to spread awareness that from 1959 through 2001, the government mercilessly genocided over 12 billion birds
Genocided? Is that a
and
word?
simultaneously replaced them with surveillance drones in disguise that film us every day as equally as these cameras are filming us right now.
You know,
So
the
what do you
Dale
have to
the Dale
back that
Gribble
up?
in me likes it.
Yeah.
To back that up, I have as
Flex
much
loves
evidence
this
as
conspiracy.
the birds have provided. There's so much.
So this is really satire. I mean, you don't really believe
watch.
that happened, correct? This is a satirical campaign to make the point that what
If 1 pound of weed was a person.
you're looking at me like, no, it's not satire.
Oh my
I really
gosh,
do
this-
believe this.
This anchor's like, oh my God, what the hell?
Honestly, it's kind of offensive.
Okay, so it's not
Yes.
satire.
I don't
Yes.
think you'd say that if I
Perfect.
said-
Ours is kind of offensive.
You know, I don't know why the other
Okay,
side
thank
of the
you, the
argument can't
expert.
be
This
treated
is the
with
best thing
equal
I've ever
respect,
seen.
Except
you know?
that before we came out on air, you said this is a satirical message. So what is
I
the-
never said that.
So what point are you trying to make here? I mean, and why did this movement come about and how?
Well, this movement came about in 1976, just to avoid any, liberal media hit job. This didn't start with me. This started in 1976, when whispering started coming about from the White House, saying that birds were in the process of being murdered on a mass level. When this started coming about, that's when the movement began. This movement is reactionary. We really didn't start this. The government started this.
How come it took so long to get billboards up and for any of us to hear about this?
That's an
Well,
excellent
Birkenstocks
question.
are expensive,
So
man.
really before the internet age, before the internet era, it was very easy to censor ideas and opinions that aren't popular and that people don't agree with. Now that we have the internet, there are no more book burnings, there are no more censored television ads.
Well, there are attempts to do all of that, but you're right. It's like Arab Spring. It's very grassroots.
So where does this movement go from here?
From here, we're looking to see change.
I was just wondering, what year is this? 3 years ago? I don't know when this was posted.
Legislation.
Oh my God, you guys, we need
we're
the
looking to
t-shirts.
see a mass spread awareness.
Are lawmakers, though, really taking this seriously? Because a lot of people will have their doubts or have their questions about whether or not the movement is really serious or not.
Yeah, that's been a really hard part of this, honestly. Since the billboard's
I
gone
can't
up, there's
imagine why
been
people don't take
a
you seriously,
reaction
sir.
of supporters and loyal bird truthers coming out, saluting, bowing. It's almost become like a sacred pilgrimage to see it. Others, though, seem to have some kind of laugh response, and it really pains me.
So on the website, there are t-shirts you can buy. There's products you can buy.
I
There are
want a
going to be
bird
some
truther
skeptics who
t-shirt.
say, they're just trying to sell t-shirts. They're just trying to make money.
don't
Where
care
does
if he's
the
just
where do
trying
the
to sell
funds
t-shirts. This
Right?
man's a
that the,
genius. Run for
movement
I
president.
can't believe they're
makes
taking
from
this
sales
guy this
t-shirts go?
seriously. How did this guy even end up on the news?
So he gets that billboard, right? And there's
Yeah.
a news segment. They interview him out in front of that, and then from that he got on here, and I mean, man, it's local television morning news shows, and this guy he has no fear, and he just goes straight forward. Now I found out about him. It was Instagram. There's a huge birds aren't real thing on Instagram. And different towns will have it. So put in the name of your town, we'll say, and it's okay, well, like Atlanta, that pops in my head. So it's birds aren't real Atlanta, and they do the hashtag, and they put up they make stickers, they'll make signs. I mean, I've been I'm in Tennessee, and I've been to a UT football game. And there was a birds aren't real Knoxville sticker, on a stop sign or something like that. I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. So, and actually on my channel, I've got 4 or 5 pictures where people have taken a picture at the beach or something like that, and they do it right on a Post-it note. They'll hold it up to their camera and say, hashtag the birds aren't real, and then they write the expert on the bomb or something. I think it's hilarious, and it's just fun because so much of the internet isn't fun anymore.
Right. He is absolutely trolling these people, and it's amazing. I can't believe he got on the news with this.
Oh God,
awesome,
you guys,
dude.
I am amending my entire birthday wish list, and all of it is going to be this guy's swag. I'm just saying,
It's just still out
Mr.
there.
Mo.
Bird
if you're
watching goes
watching.
both ways. I love that T-shirt he's wearing.
I know.
Bird watching goes both ways.
Oh.
Is that what his shirt says?
Yeah,
look,
that's what his shirt he's wearing
I
says.
would say every
Zoom in on him.
movement, go to any political
bird watching goes both ways. That is awesome. I
Can we
want
get
that
some?
shirt.
Okay,
And
I need to pull up how much can my credit card take. No, I'm just kidding.
And there's proof everywhere you go. There's proof that birds are drones. I mean, you see them sitting on power lines. They're recharging. It's this all this stuff, man. He's so cool.
Oh my God.
And what drew me to it is I really don't like birds that much. They kind of scare me, and not seeing them flying or something, but I don't like being in close proximity to birds. And anyway, no, I just when I saw this, I was like, this is hilarious. What a great way to, I don't know, just make a parody of everything.
Yeah, no, this is.
Oh my
this is
gosh,
great.
you guys, Redbubble, just Type it in, David. It's hilarious.
Red
We've got
Bubble?
all the, yeah, it's a t-shirt place. I may or may not know where all the stupid t-shirts come from.
Okay.
He's got
They're all
a website.
equally selling
Right.
mer-
So what do you
merchandise to
spend?
spread and support.
Oh, okay. So the money is used to continue to buy the billboards, for instance.
Yes,
to rent
ma'am.
the
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
How-
It's to fund movement efforts, to fund activism and public awareness.
All right, Peter, we appreciate you being with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Birdsaren'treal.com.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, never mind. He does have his own website. We definitely need to get all of the things.
Know what you need to do? We need to get Peter on.
Oh my God, that would be awesome.
Would that not be awesome?
Who's Peter?
That would be the
That's the guy
best day
that was
ever.
just there talking.
Oh, that guy. Oh,
That's Peter. Yeah, once you learn his name, man, you get it's like that just fits. Everything about the
He
whole
looks like a
shtick
Peter, yeah.
just fits. You know?
We need more public awareness. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
isn't that great? And you know, it's okay. It's like people have the whole like Australia isn't real, and like I don't know.
Australia is not real. Think about it. It's a place that exists tomorrow, never today. It's a country that's as large as a continent. They have deer that stand on two legs, carry their young in their pouch. It absolutely is not real.
You've had enough.
Yeah, and they also
Have
have
them
beautiful
here.
people.
Yeah, that's not real.
Well, I see him there sitting with you.
It's make
Thank you.
believe.
So,
absolutely.
So in any event,
So the expert, where we left off, they were arguing over whether or not to give to exclude testimony from an expert witness that, in my opinion, lied several times on the stand. And I have no idea. They were going to try to get her on the phone to clarify her credentials. She was an ME that did an examination of the child.
But does that matter usually? I mean,
The
if
board
it's your-
certification stuff doesn't matter. But the fact that she said she passed her
gotcha, yeah,
boards.
on the stand.
Yeah, it just goes to her credibility, really. They're grasping at straws. The defense is grasping at straws at this point. Well, let's see.
okay. So
I think it's
Mr.
going to be like,
Peña,
all right, let's do
Mr.
a 10-minute thing, and then we're off
Boggs,
until
Bozell,
2 o'clock
Solomon,
Eastern.
all the counsel are here for the defense. Mr. Anais, your team's here. What's defendant is present? Go ahead.
Your Honor, so we've been back and forth on this issue regarding Dr. Stern. We ultimately withdrew the agreement of submission of both documents, and we were able to contact Dr. Stern, who's driving in from out of town. She can be present by 2:30 p.m.
At what time?
She can
2:30.
be available to testify at 2:30 p.m.
I thought you
to
said
clarify
5,
this
2:30.
issue. We looked into we spoke to our appellate counsel because this is a credibility question that belongs to the jury. He suggests that it be testimonial and that she be cross-examined on this issue. We have no problem with that. And conveyed
All
that
right.
to counsel. They're in agreement with questioning her at 2:30.
Very good.
Is that okay with the court?
That's good with me. In fact, I prefer that as well.
Yes, Judge, and I think the district attorney has put it correctly that we believed we had a agreement, but the district attorney withdrew that agreement and then offered the testimony of Dr. Stern on why. Judge, we would just ask if there is a question about the impeachment in order to be able to let the district attorney stipulate to the letter that we have presented to them in its original form from the American Board.
Well, I mean,
if it's necessary for the impeachment.
But she never testified.
Well,
that's
in any event, the question is, are you going to be able to use the letter when you cross-examine her? And if it's for impeachment purposes, the rules are going to apply. Whatever the rules are, the rules are. I'm not going to make it. If you want to make a ruling right now, I will. But if it's going to be using for impeachment purposes, and basically that's, first of all, you're going to go through a clarification period, and depending on what she says, then this becomes relevant or not relevant, depending on how she testifies. So if she testifies, here I am, then okay. Because it wasn't, she actually did not officially say she was. I mean, there was confusion and required clarification. And again, I don't have the official. I'm going with what Ms. Bozell showed us. but I do have Cindy going over that. So because we're going to have her here, and you have an opportunity to call her if you'd like, then that's the best remedy. You know?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And I would say, for the record, of course, the CV that was provided by the district attorney for Dr. Stern, under the category board examination and certifications, she lists American Board of Pathology examination 2001.
Right.
So whether she technically, very lawyerly on the stand, sort of mumbled through some words, may be different than what the records that she files as her curriculum. We can
Clarify the mumbling if you want to call it that. Take it from there. But you'll have an opportunity to do that.
That's what they're doing. They're giving.
Then so it is. So
The
you're
judge is allowing the defense
I guess
and the
it's
state to clarify the mumbling of their expert.
11:20 actually. I'm going by the cuckoo clock over here, but we're going with this one. 11:20.
And just to be clear, the state will be able to question her after the question.
It's a regular witness that they bring, and therefore you're entitled to cross them. Or whatever the rules say on that issue. Cross them, I guess, technically. All right. Thank you. So now we just need to make sure our hallway is cleared for Mr. Burgos to go in, and then you all will follow, and then of course whatever time we have left after that is your sandwich or hamburger time or whatever it is you're going to have. Salad. Okay, salad. Thank you.
Well, I don't know what his fascination
We'll
is
see you at
with
1 o'clock. Thank you all.
Okay. All right, we're done again. All of that waiting for him to literally say we're going to come back at 1, which is what I asked the court earlier. Oh, I got. Hang on, let me fix this. There we go. I called the court a little while ago to say, hey, are they going to go back on the record and do anything and continue arguing before 1 o'clock when the jury comes back, or 1 o'clock their time, 2 o'clock our time? They said, oh yeah, they're going back on the record for that, literally for that. So we have an hour and a half until anything happens. Let's see here. So we got a ton of questions for the expert regarding the birds aren't real.
I just saw that. C-Swept, you got to go. You got to go to the website. Peter can tell you. I don't know Peter.
Let's see. We're gonna find out. Birds aren't real.
A lot of the shirts are sold out. I'm so sad.
Oh gosh.
I'm putting it. I'm gonna put it in the chat for you all.
Yeah. Well, so if I don't want to be lewd and have bird eyes on the boobage area,
Truth or gear?
I buy them a
short
little
sleeve shirts,
bigger.
long sleeve shirts. Are they all sold out? Oh, what just happened?
I have no idea. I broke it.
Yeah, I just put the link in the chat, and then all of a sudden everything like blacked out on me.
The birds are watching.
Yeah.
They've caught us.
Big birds.
I know, that's what I get. Well, technically they were correct that the court was going back on the record. We just thought it was going to be something interesting. We should not have expected anything interesting though from this court. So I apologize to everyone that stuck around with us this whole time. But hey, we got the expert here and his birds aren't real theory, so that's awesome.
It's good times. Good times, man. We need to have fun. I mean, especially like you're covering cases on murder and all that stuff, dude. It drags on you after a while. It leaves you in a downer. And you can always, you gotta find that upbeat stuff. Bring that smile back.
Right. Sometimes I get kind of nasty messages. How are you making fun of this case? There's a child that's been murdered. It's like, yeah, but we got to make it fun somehow. And if you just want to watch the testimony, go to Ellen Seward.
Well, you're not making fun of the child. You're making fun of stuff that you find humorous.
Yeah. Or we could take lessons from, like the woman involved in this particular case. Maybe there's some warning signs. Just saying, all you ladies out there. Hey, text James in the chat.
If the first thing he asks you when you ask for child support is, can you get the tatas out? Maybe
whip them out.
Yeah, and if he's telling your mother that your daughter liked this aubergine emoji, maybe find another one. He's probably not a keeper. What do I know? I don't understand women, but I understand enough that
I don't
it's
understand them
probably not.
either, and I am one.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with men understanding women is that women don't understand women.
No.
I tell Mr. Mo I wear my own ass out being so crazy half the time. I'm like, I don't even know why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Just ignore me.
I did everything after you said I wear my own ass out. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
So for anyone who is in the chat who doesn't know the expert, drift a little bit. Tell them what you're doing, because I'm going to actually shut this down and get some work done. We're going to be back at 2:30ish Eastern time for the next stream. But tell them what you
I'm
got
just
going
a
on.
dude playing a dude on the internet. I made the mistake of going to law school, and and let me tell you what, I can't handle the like you were talking about, like people making fun or people being upset that you're making fun of stuff and cases and all that. This stuff is very dry, and it's hard to have any entertainment in it. And so I really admire what you do, MLS. And thank you so much for having me on here. Me, I'm just a goofball on the internet. I make fun of everything, current events, though. It's before law school, I was in politics, and both of those things suck. So, I mean,
Yes, they
you know,
do.
unless you want to spend your days fighting, it's not worth it anymore. And I got involved in this with the whole shutdown, pandemic stuff. My wife bought me a microphone. She said, "Stop talking to me." She
Stop
said, "Talk
talking to me.
good
Start
people."
talking to the internet.
That's what she
Mr. Mo
said.
did the same thing.
Yes, she was like, because I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe what this person said." I probably said idiot, but anyway.
Expert, you do not have an attic, correct? You do not have an attic.
Why? Do I need one?
No, you don't, because Farrell and C Swept will end up living in it. So you do not have an attic.
Oh,
McDonald's pea cups and everything.
There was
They will send you a fireplace.
we
though,
covered a case
so-
with Nick Stroff and Baker and myself between the three of us. I think Nick was streaming it, but it was a guy who was stalking his OnlyFans crush, ended up living in her attic for a bit, and then sneaked down at night and take some pictures of her. So,
you forgot
Farrell's
the
been in my
important part.
attic for a couple of months now.
You forgot the important part. She sent him a wish list with an electronic fireplace, and he got it for her. So,
yeah, he bought her a fireplace and then moved into her attic.
Yeah, and she kind of invited him. And did he drive 3 hours each way to get a handy or a very short blowy?
Yeah, they went into pain-filled detail
So
about
essentially,
how
the case was this guy had a little OnlyFans, or the girl had an OnlyFans account, and she was chatting up this guy who ended up sending her a bunch of gifts. She literally sent him a list of things, and he just started buying them one at a time and sending them to her, including a fireplace.
With his mom's credit card, right?
With his mom's credit card. And then she invited him over to meet where they exchanged negotiable affections. And then he just decided to kind of move into her attic after that.
Dude, okay. I love OnlyFans content. Like it is there's so many cases out there right now involving OnlyFans stars. And the tubes, they don't like it. So if you put up there, it's, I don't know. It just
the worst thing about the trial was not the fact that this guy used his mom's credit card and did all this stuff, was sucked in by her and lived in the attic and all this stuff. The worst thing is that testimony established this. He only lasted 5 seconds.
Dude, I mean,
well, it's the same.
I'm not that type of giver, but I'm thinking that she's got to be thinking this is a good gig.
If you could get an electronic fireplace for 5 seconds, I'm not. Well,
I'm not saying completely no to it.
But
What's
again,
that T-shirt? $20 is $20.
But again, the 231 pieces case from Denmark I covered. He also had a very fast handy in the car. That was his defense of why the DNA was there. They didn't find any DNA, but it was an explanation.
Yeah.
We had a case in Denmark with a young female who was picked up after being out drinking, and a guy abducted her, and she fell and broke her neck. And to make a big problem go away, as a lawyer, you just have to make it into smaller problems. So he made it into at least 231 smaller problems.
And then tried to dissolve it in caustic acid. Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Yeah, especially if you, not legal advice, but if you install a GPS system you believe you can turn off in your car, make sure you can turn it off, or the police will have everything you do on tape.
His whole defense, though, is that she wanted to get it on with him in the woods in the middle of winter in Denmark.
Because he used to be a soldier.
Because he used to be a soldier, and she accidentally fell and killed herself. That was his defense.
She accidentally fell and killed herself.
Killed herself.
Well, that was what Brian Laundrie said. The Gabby Petito.
Yeah.
Saying
Yeah,
he said that he goes, she fell and twisted her ankle, and we were like a quarter mile from the van. She was in a lot of pain, so I sympathy offered her. I was like,
Yeah, it's not
What a
like a
great
horse,
boyfriend.
you know.
Yeah,
I was about to say,
not
as
like
a
a
person
horse.
who just broke their ankle last year, thanks for my husband not putting me down like a horse.
Right?
I mean, we have 6 kids. I don't know that you'd get another buyer, but thanks for keeping me around.
Sorry.
So
This is why they have me.
So this is why
I'm not gonna get another buyer.
It was a long way to get to the answer of why we don't have attics, so that none of you out there have any place to live when you decide to come over here. So that's why I think, who was it? C-Swept was asking if he had an attic.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I live across a big ocean. It makes it harder to go into the attic.
Oh yeah, the baker's from Denmark, so he doesn't. He's not accessible very often, although he's got some in the chat that are there. All right, so I think we're going to shut down the stream for now. We're all going to take a needed break. I know Baker's going to take a needed break for a minute. We'll be back at 2:30 Eastern.
It's 6:30 my time, so I'll have dinner and walk the dog.
And then we're going to start late. The court says they're going to be back at 1. We're going at 1:30 their time, because they are never on time.
Does Texas not have watches? I'm confused. I mean, I understand you guys have your own nukes, but could we?
I mean, the judge even said we're going to take a hard 5. I'm going to count the minutes, and then like 35 minutes later they come back. We're going to take an hour and 15. It was very specific. 3 hours later they come back.
Yeah.
So we're not in a hurry to get caught up to this trial. We're going to start at 2:30 Eastern time, whatever time it is. Well, it'd be 8:30 p.m. then Baker's time, right?
Math me again. Your time.
2 hours from now.
2 hours from now, it's 8:30. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I do maths better than you. So
No, dude. Hey, man, everybody goes to law school because they don't have to do math. That's what I was told.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And I used to be a baker, so we have to do math because we have to figure out how to cheat customers most. So we're good at it.
That's a good point.
We'll see you. Oh, by the way, if you're on my stream, you're going to be redirected to the next. It's going to be like 2 hours, so hit the notification and then come back, and we'll go from there. So
And
we'll
everyone on the downtown time, go watch Nicholas starting up his trial. It must be around this time he's starting up his new trial.
Is it a half hour now? I can't remember what time.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And maybe someone in the chat can put a link to Nicholas's channel too, his stream for today. We got a new trial starting. It looks really interesting. It's a missing body murder case too. So that should be interesting. We'll see if it's going to be handled differently than Zachariah Anderson's case. So check that out, and we'll see y'all back here. I'll see you in the chat over at Nicholas's, but I'll see you back on the stream in a couple of hours. See you good.
Thank you.